Well, now we know what Zack Snyder's Captain America would have been like. It's the most obvious joke, but I will always take the lowest of hanging fruits. I've already seen like 9 people make that joke online. I was like, fuck it, it's a good joke. I'm going to take that. I'll gladly steal that. I'm unoriginal enough. Hey, everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
This is our post-Geekout reaction for episode 4 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And, hey, I want everybody to go back real quick and look at our episode 1 recap, in which I said, yeah, they're trying to make messages, but it feels like they have to always stop short. Like, they're afraid of getting, like, too serious. And I know they're trying to use metaphors in here, but I think the metaphors are just too out there. I don't think that people are going to get it. I think it's just going to go right over people's heads. Never mind. Smash cut. Okay, spoilers. Yeah, for anybody who's not seen episode 4, obviously we're gonna do spoilers. But smash cut to the end of this episode where Captain America is holding the shield and it's covered in blood after he just violently murdered someone who wasn't even like attacking him back right in the middle of public. And it's like, and they just walked away like, what the are you looking at? Okay. You know what? I think your metaphors are. I think you're on there. All right. I was like, I don't.
They
know
finally dropped the other shoe.
I don't know how a lot of people are going to miss that metaphor. Like, I mean, I've seen a couple people out there who are saying like, yeah, I support John Walker because he gets the job done. I'm like, motherfucker, I know you don't mean that. I know you're just saying that to get attention. Like, no way did the message go that far over some people's heads. Like, trust me, if there's a message, it's gonna go over some people's heads, but it's like, I don't know how anyone could not get this one. Like, we pretty much had a shield beaten over our head with this one in order to go like, I see what you're saying now. Yes, I too am an intellectual, I see. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying this show now. It's crazy to me, like, how nervous I was after that first episode. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to do all the stuff that they want to do here. I'm like, oh, they're doing it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And also, one of the other complaints I had, I think it was episode 3. Yeah, with the last episode, I was like, okay, this was a good Bucky episode. But this, like, Sam's story is he has to become Captain America. Like, that's how this has to go. He has to become Captain America by the end of this. He really hasn't had enough time in the spotlight here, so you gotta start putting him in the spotlight a little bit. He gets some good, like, this is why he's supposed to be Captain America moments in here. Like, this entire episode was basically just the guy they made Captain America, the guy who's supposed to be Captain America, just like, this is what we're supposed to. No, we're doing this. It's like, you're doing a pretty good job on this episode. Like, I don't really have a lot of notes on this episode. This episode is pretty much just me going, well, that was awesome. What about you? What were your thoughts on this? Because my throat needs to rest after that opening.
What's the new cover? John Walker?
John Walker.
John Walker. It's like, I knew he was like eventually like gonna snap, but I didn't.
There's snap, and then there's what the fuck he just did. Oh,
but,
man.
Like, it's like there was a moment where like he took the bottle of the serum, and I was like, did he like inject it in himself like off screen? It
was off screen, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's that moment where he throws that shield into the wall and it's embedded in there. It's like, oh,
because like I thought,
it happened.
Yeah, like I thought like the episode was gonna end with like him like shooting himself.
Like actually show it. And
yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm okay with him not showing it because like, I think that it leads us to kind of like realize on our own. And then like, you know, it's the slow burn or do you want the instant satisfaction of like, oh, he just did that. We're like, wait a minute, did he do this? Like, I get why they would not show it. Yeah, but like, I really appreciated that, man, I have come to really like, I'm going to phrase this properly. I have come to really like the way that Zemo is written in here. Because I almost said I've really come to really like Zemo. I was like, no, he's a villain.
No.
Gotta make sure that I like clarify. If I say I like a villain in something, it's typically because what I mean is I don't agree with him or anything. It means I think that is a well-written character that you have established here. Like, hell, I think John Walker is a well-written character in here too. But there was a moment here in which I was like, are you about to back out on all the stuff you have set up with Zemo? Because there comes that moment in which he corners, I can't remember her name, but the leader of the Flag Smashers. And he corners her, and she's got all their main super soldier vials in there, and she drops them, and he sees them all scattered on the ground. And I was like, are you about to have the guy who has spent this entire time, his entire doctrine is, I hate superpowered individuals. Super soldiers are wrong. We should not have super soldiers. My mission is to destroy the super soldiers. Are you about to have him pick a vial up and inject it himself? Like, I'm the only one worthy of being it. I was like, are you about to do that? And then, no, he just starts smashing all the I was like, oh, God, wow. You had, you can... This is the way
he literally shot the guy who was making the serum.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this guy, like... I've said this many times, you want to make a villain really interesting, give him a code, make him stick to that code. They have nailed that with Zemo in here. Yeah, I think they're doing a great job on that. And speaking of like why I think John Walker is a well-written character, again, well-written means that they wrote him well, not they wrote him in a way that makes me agree with him. I do have to clarify that. But it is so clear what John Walker is supposed to be. Like, he is basically the embodiment of like privilege, kind of. He is the guy who is like, yeah, I totally earned this. I should be doing this. And there comes that moment in which you see he's talking about like the super soldier serum. Like he's going up to Bucky and is like, the only thing keeping me from going in there is that serum in your veins, like that kind of thing. Because like I don't know if it's ever been fully established in here, but Bucky, even if he doesn't have the super soldier serum, he's got something. He's got the Hydra knockoff brand in him. But he's talking to him about that, and you can kind of tell that he's like, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I'm so much better than you if it wasn't for that unfair advantage that you got given. And then there comes that moment where he gets his ass handed to him by the Dora Milaje. And what's the line out of his mouth afterwards? They weren't even super soldiers. They weren't even super soldiers. They weren't even super soldiers. Wow, I screwed that up. This is why I'm not an actor. The actor playing John Walker, great job he's doing. Man, he's nailing it. And like you can just see in that moment of like, hold up, no, I'm Captain. I'm the really great, amazing guy. They didn't have the unfair advantage. How did they beat what? Yeah, man. And just like the delivery on that line was like, oh, you just summed up his character in one line. That is good writing. That is good delivery. That is good performance. Man, you just nailed that. And I love the Dora Milaje actually takes the shield from it, and I thought they were going to keep that shield. Because remember, that thing is made out of vibranium that was taken from Wakanda. I thought they were going to take that thing and just be like, we loaned this to you. We're taking it back now. I was like, I would not have expected the show to go in that direction, but okay. But yeah, like they could have done that because then how is Sam going to eventually get? Yeah.
I liked how they threw it down. It's like their way of saying, we don't need this shield.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah, exactly. Man, so many just good things about this episode. Trying to think of, there was something else I definitely wanted to spotlight in here. Oh yeah, this is something that's been up on the internet and people have been arguing about. Like, this wasn't what I was going to talk about, but the internet's talking about it, so I'll bring this up real quick. The moment where they punch in, like, real quick on his arm and Bucky's arm falls off. A lot of people are like, well, that's a show of distrust on him that they would install, like, a failsafe in that thing. And I was just like, dude, this ain't about trust or anything. It's, they made a weapon. Who makes a weapon and doesn't, like, design a way to turn it off?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, why wouldn't they? But, like, obviously, like, even if they trusted Bucky 100%, like, Wakandans are smart. That's kind of like their defining thing. They're the most technologically advanced nation on Earth. Wouldn't you install a failsafe into everything that you do? Like, that's just, like, what if someone else got that arm? Like, some other supervillain was like, yeah, we're going to take this thing, study it, and then we're going to put it in our own super, like, the summer soldier or something. The spring soldier and...
the autumn soldier.
Oh, yeah, there we go. The fall soldier. Oh, that's not bad.
He's just like in a Halloween costume.
Yeah. There's enough stupid costume villains out there who can fit that, yeah. But yeah, it's like, it's up, like, why would you not put something like that in the art? Yeah, so it's like, that wasn't something I was going to spotlight because I didn't even think about it, but the internet is talking, like, that's the discourse going on right now. It's like, how would they, why on earth would they put a failsafe in there? It's like, because it's a freaking weapon. Like, why would you not? Hell, even the Death Star had a freaking hole in it in case they need something to do. For anybody out there who's going to say, well, actually the reason the Death Star has a hole, I saw the movie, I know. But yeah, God, there was something else I did. Oh, yeah. I want to talk about how this episode was really great for Sam's character and just building him up.
Yeah.
Like, this was the episode that was like, this is why he's supposed to beat the guy. Like, I've been saying this from episode 1, but one of the best things about Sam in the MCU's version is that he is a counselor. He is somebody who when he got back from being a soldier, his entire job was counseling other soldiers who were having trouble, counseling soldiers who they had PTSD or they had other difficulties going on. And like, that's just a guy who his entire thing is I'm understanding and I listen and I sympathize with people. Like, yes, that's the guy who should be Captain America, 1,000%. And I love that they finally brought that back up in here. And yeah, he went, listen, this person just lost someone close to them. They've been through a lot. If we go in there guns blazing, then you're just going to cause a lot more trouble. Trust me, I'm a counselor. I'm going to go in there. And yeah, he just goes in there and just talks to her. And like someone pointed this out online that just the framing of the shots are really good because Sam is saying to her with his back to her, letting her know. By the way, our dog is chewing on something down here. Like,
yeah, she's chewing on one of her like raw hides.
Oh, come on, buddy. Yeah, get on up here.
Yo, is she okay?
She okay? Yeah, she got injured recently.
Yeah, she fell off the bed, so
she hurt her leg, but now she's okay. Yeah, she's
doing a lot better now.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold this for you now, but you gotta promise not to chew too loud.
Yes.
Okay. I'll just hold it over here. What do you think about that? Anyway, as I was saying, the framing of the shots. Yeah, she's oh god. He's sitting with his back to her, which is like the most vulnerable position that you can be, but it's like the sign that he trusts her. He knows, like, listen, there's no way I can attack you right now. You can totally, like, you can stab me in the back, like literally stab me in the back right now. Nothing I could do, but I'm doing this to show that I trust you. And I was like, yeah, that's really freaking good. But the best moment in there is that moment of when Baron Zemo asked him, like, would you take the super soldier serum if you had the chance?
It's absolutely no.
Instantly has the answer. And then there's that moment where Walker is asking Battlestar, it's like, would you take the serum if you had a chance? Hell yeah. Like, not even a moment of time. It's like, that shows the divide between Sam and John Walker and, like, just, like, their foils in this show.
Yeah. And speaking of
Battlestar?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, there was one other thing that I want to talk about before we got to that, but screw it. Okay, I can't remember what it was. Yeah, like, he dies in here, and, man, I know that a lot of people in there were like, a lot of people were upset about that because it is kind of a stereotypical thing to kill off a black character in order to create trauma. But I was like, this really does serve a point in the show.
Yeah, like he was like Walker's like anchor in a way.
Well,
like,
also he was. This entire thing is showing how Walker is not fit to be Captain America.
Yeah,
he was Walker's Bucky. And remember, in the first Captain America, when, I mean, we all knew that Bucky was alive if you were a comic book fan, but Cap didn't know that. And then Bucky dies in the first Captain America movie. And what does Cap do? He goes and he sulks and he's just distraught and he can't believe it. What does Walker do after Battlestar dies? He goes into a rampage and violently murders someone in Town Square. Like, yeah, that shows the divide here. It shows the huge divide between, like, Steve Rogers and John Walker. Like, yeah, if you want to talk about something that would like really show off the distinction between John Walker and the guy he thinks he's worthy to be, this was it. Yeah. Right there.
And the girl, like, she suddenly realizes, like, oh, I fucked up.
I love that too, because it does also kind of like say a lot about like what she's trying to accomplish and how she's been going about trying to accomplish it, because we saw in that one episode where she blows up that car and I'm assuming that people died as a result of that.
Yeah, like you don't see it, so you can't say for sure.
But that's exactly it.
Exactly.
Like, if people had died there, she didn't see it either, and she was like, this is the only language that they understand. But then the moment that she has to actually see what she's done, she has that look on her face of like, oh no. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very different thing, like actually witnessing the result of like what you're doing, and it's that moment of her kind of realizing like, oh, maybe I am actually the bad guy in this one. It's like, I thought that was a great moment for her.
Yeah, it's like, you know, there's always like someone who like, you like gets you like angry. It's like, oh, I want to kill them, but it's like, no, I actually really don't want to kill him because I don't want to. That'd be way too traumatizing.
Well, also, it's like to her, it's the video game effect of like, when she's just planting a bomb and then walking away from it, like she doesn't see the consequences of that stuff. Like in her mind, it's like, yes, I did the thing that will change the world for the better. But now that she's actually seen, like, oh, people die. Like, it's that meme. People die when you kill them. It's like someone make that meme of like just get a good screen cap of her in the show and then put that that line down there. You all know the line. I don't know if I'm quoting it correctly, but the one from Fate. It's that moment where she kind of realized like, oh, this isn't as heroic as I thought it was. Oh crap! Oh no!
Yeah, like even like Sam, he was like, "I agree with what you're doing, but I don't like your methods." And
it's basically like I saw someone say that they had a problem with that line, and there was like, all they're trying to do is just make a like. Listen, their motivation and their plan is let's create a world where everyone comes together and helps each other, and it's these big country lines and these big rules and regulations and everything. That's what's preventing us from doing that. It's like all the corporate and greedy people at the top. And remember, this whole show started with Sam not being able to get a bank loan, even though he helped save the entire universe. And it's like, yeah, man, Sam understands, like, yeah, people should be able to come together and help each other when they're in need. Trust me, I relate to what you're saying, but you're murdering people. No, stop it. You're blowing stuff up. Hey, buddy. It's one of those things where it's like just so many things here. I now remember the other thing that I want to talk about. I remember in episode 2 when they kind of gave the backstory on John Walker's like, wow, he did all these things and he got all these awards and wow, it's like, man, you really are setting up like this guy kind of deserves to be Captain America because he did all these brave, amazing things. And now we kind of like got a little bit of backstory on that in this episode. And there's that moment where Battlestar is talking to him. And he's like, yeah, man, you totally deserve this. Because, I mean, you got like 3 Purple Hearts because of this. So, like, not Medals of Honor. I can't remember what was the exact medal they got. But yeah, he got 3 of those and he goes, yeah, but if people knew what we actually had to do to get those awards, like, and he basically reveals, like, yeah, it's not necessarily that I did a heroic thing. I did a really dark, brutal thing because I was obeying the order. I was just following orders.
Yes.
And that's why I got the awards. Like, they basically gave me the awards because of the dark, horrible thing that I had to do. Like, he doesn't say it, but, like, he makes it sound like it's, I won't go into, like, any details, but, like, almost, I won't go into any, like, real-world examples. Sorry, because then that'll get, like, really dark.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, he's making it sound like, holy crap, what kind of terrible, dark stuff did you have to do? And he kind of lets you know, it's like, yeah, even like the qualifications that they gave in that first episode are kind of bullcrap. He really just did like, it wasn't that he did like 3 remarkable things. He did one really dark thing, and there was like, thank you for following orders. Here you go. Yeah, which I wish that in the comics when Sam was Captain America, there was like this whole like organization that was like, they had people in the news, they had people in Washington, they had like people just kind of like in multiple different departments of power trying to lead this campaign to get Sam to give back the shield. And I'm thinking now kind of about like how John Walker, you know, he basically got given the shield, not necessarily because he was, you know, a good man, but because he followed orders. And they're like, we need a Captain America who can follow orders. I wish that we got a little bit more detail on, like, all right, who are the people who decide you're the one that was worthy? Like, let's get some back.
Like, even Steve, like, disobeyed orders in order to, like, do the right thing.
This is what sets up John Walker and Sam Wilson so well, is that line from the first Captain America movie, what we don't need is a great soldier, we need a good man. It's like, yeah, John Walker's a great soldier. He followed orders. Sam Wilson is a good man. It's like, yeah, that's the guy who got America. And like, they mentioned this in the first Captain America movie, and they never really brought back up. And it was one of the more cheesy things from the first Captain America movie. But like, the first Captain America movie was meant to be like a World War II film. It was meant to be kind of cheesy. And I don't mean a film about World War II. I mean a film during World War II. it was meant to be a little bit cheesy, and there's that line like, the serum will enhance whatever is already inside of you. And they never really brought that back, but that was like why the Red Skull had a skull for a face, like the serum did that to him or something. Like, that's kind of like what was sort of implied. And this one's like, yeah, he takes the serum, and basically he's juicing. He's on roids right now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he has massive roid rage in here. But yeah, I'm really stunned that they were willing to come in here and like kind of like. What was one of the things I said when we watched the first episode is that I can tell this show wants to make messages, but I don't think they're going to be allowed to make any real messages. And one of the reasons is because they're using a lot of military stuff in here. And in America, if you do anything involving the military in your film, you have to get them to okay the script. Like if you want to use uniforms, if you want to use like vehicles, if you want to use like any locations, you need to have the military approve that script. So if they want to make any big messages in here, they're not going to be able to get that stuff approved by the military. And watching this episode, I was like, how on earth did you get like this guy who's got like these 3 medals of honor to suddenly come in here and be like, I did horrible things to earn those, and now I'm going to brutally murder someone in the middle of this town square. I'm like, how did you get the military to sign up on that? And I was like, we haven't seen any military stuff since that first episode. And all I can think is the guy who had to approve that first script over at the military just being like, there, okay, so this thing is going to be all right. It's going to be totally fine with all this. And then turning in this episode like, oh, I guess I probably should have asked to see the rest of the series. Oh, okay. I was like, oh shit. Okay. All right. Way to go. All right.
Yeah, like it's fictional characters doing these things.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. It's like as long as you're not using actual uniforms, actual like locations, actual vehicles. Yeah, you don't actually have to get. That's why after WandaVision, there was a meme going around. It was the what is grief if not happiness, if not love triumphing or something.
I forgot the quote, but yeah.
I've forgotten a lot if you guys know that. By the way, I am very sorry about the sound my daughter's been making, chewing on her little chew toy. Yeah, hold on, buddy. I'm gonna put this down now. You're getting too crazy. You are too crazy, buddy.
You're too chewy.
Yes.
Chewy.
You're lucky you're good for ratings, Peach. So anyway, I can only imagine how we might have to do this entire episode over again. As soon as I listen to this when I'm editing it, I might
just
be
like chew, pant.
It's not just chewing; it's this gross, wet chewing.
Because it's a rawhide. Yes, Peach ASMR.
Yes. You want to know what it's like to have a dog? You just put this on, beep us out. I wonder if that would like actually do well on YouTube, like dog ASMRs. By the way, it's not an actual rawhide. It's like, I know that there are people out there who like jump in the comments like, those are actually bad for your dog. This is like some weird like non-rawhide like substitute thing.
Yeah, that's like easily to digest. It's
like a super easily digestible version. Yeah, it's like we've already done the research, but like I don't know what they're actually called. Just calling them rawhide is easier. What the hell was I about to say? We were talking about like John Walker doing all those things. Hey, Peach. Kiss. Kiss. Oh my God, buddy, you're adorable, but seriously. God, I had a point.
We were mentioning about like the military, and you were mentioning WandaVision about the
yes. Okay, yeah, and I saw a meme going around in which someone said, "What is the MCU if not military propaganda?" And I was like, "Well, Captain Marvel, yes, I'll totally give you Captain Marvel." But it's like, it's not really the MCU's fault. That's all of Hollywood. If you want to use the military, you have to have the military go, this is okay for you to do that. But we have constantly had fictional military organizations in there, like SWORD and SHIELD and all these other organizations in there, and they always have evil, horrible people at the top running things like Captain America the Winter Soldier is entirely about the government using too much of their authority and power to spy on people. Like, that's entirely what it is. That's what that entire movie is about. Well, that's what the whole thing about SHIELD launching the satellites up there and everything. Like, yeah, that's exactly what that was. And then SHIELD turns out to have secretly been Hydra the entire time. I was like, yeah, they're definitely making messages. They just can't come flat out and say, this is about the United States government, because then they have to get that approved. So they can't do that. This is like the first time in which they've been like, listen, we made sure not to show the exact things that we need not to show to actually come in here and be like, oh yeah, here's commentary. I was like, all right, way to go. Like, I don't know how, like, after that first episode, I was like, yeah, there's gonna be a lot more of that stuff in here. And then, like, after that first episode, I was like, oh, shoot. Okay. Well, all right. Way to go, MCU. Yeah, as I said, I don't have any notes on this episode. I really enjoyed the crap out of this thing. Also, for the comic fans out there, Easter egg, there was a time when Steve Rogers had to decapitate someone with his shield, and the camera angles are the exact one from the panel that they used in that. Like, holy crap, that's wow. Wow. That's a deep cut that you put in there. Man, yeah. Also, how the hell did they get away with getting that ending on Disney Plus? Like, because I know a lot of people are like, well, they use clever camera angles. His shield is coated in blood, and there's a giant blood splatter all over the ground. It's like, blood is one of those big ratings no-nos. Like, blood's one of those things where, like, you're allowed to show, like, this much of it. Like, that was definitely beyond the allowable amount. That is, wow, I was shocked by that.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking, like, back to, like, the other MCU movies and, like, how much blood was in those, like...
Not really a lot that I remember. I mean, people would have, like, an arm ripped off, but, like, the arm would be, like, chopped off by, like, something heated and instantly got cauterized or, like, something like that. So, like, they would show, like, some stuff, but,
I guess, but, like, the first Iron Man movie, like, he literally had to, like, build his own, like, heart and everything, so, like...
But you didn't see, like, an open chest cavity or anything.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, no, again, it's like... There's definitely a difference between what we got here in this and what we've seen in other stuff.
Well, we mentioned, like, there was mentioning about, like, Disney doing, like, an adult...
Yeah, and I honestly kind of wonder if, like, this is, like, testing grounds for that. It's like, were we able to get away with that? All right, cool, yeah, Disney Extreme coming now. No, wait, that's an already thing.
What?
Well, isn't that already, like, a kid's show kind of thing? Like,
Disney XD, you mean?
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. Like, adult Disney.
Yeah,
like,
kind of like that, like... Listen, they own Predator and Alien now. It'd be dumb for them to not
Don't
do
they
that.
also own Deadpool?
Yes. Which they've already said that Deadpool is going to be rated R.
Yeah, so...
Which I've seen a lot of people upset that Blade, they said Blade will be PG-13. I'm just like, go back and watch the original Blade. It's... The standards and ratings have moved ever so slightly since the original Blade came out. If you just take out the motherfuckers they says in there, it's honestly would not really be... that hard to make that movie a PG-13. Like, it wouldn't be that much. Like, when he's, like, stabbing vampires, they just dissolve into dust. That's PG-13. You could 100% do that in PG-13. Like, I'm thinking about, like, how iconic that opening rave scene is. You just take out the sprinklers full of blood there at the beginning, the rest of that fight is entirely PG-13. It's like, I honestly don't... Listen, I would far rather have an R-rated Blade. I absolutely would far rather have an R-rated Blade. I'm not going to say that PG-13 Blade would be ruined. I'm not going to say, like, no, it can still work. You just wouldn't be able to have him say motherfucker. Which is, listen, you're not going to have Mahershala Ali come in here and say some motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill. Like, you're never going to repeat that line. That line is done. It's never coming back again. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, one other thing I did want to mention. I really love that John Walker... Not only did he not kill the person that he killed, it wasn't even the person that killed Battlestar. It was the guy who was trying to tell that person, I think you're going too far, and even said, I was a Captain America fan. Like, that moment, when you stop and think about that and how he said, yeah, I was actually a Captain America fan, and then he gets murdered by Captain America's shield. Holy shit, that's tragic. That is really tragic. Like, yeah, I'm just describing stuff that happened here, but it's like, wow. This episode was good. This episode was really good.
It's like John Walker's like, nope, I don't care if you're a fan. You're a flag smasher, therefore I must kill you.
Yeah, he deals in extremes. Yes, John Walker deals in very extremes. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. Like I said, no notes on this episode. It was just good. It was a good episode. You got anything to add?
I can't really think of anything.
Yeah. We got 2 more episodes. I will say... I'm getting nervous that I don't think they're going to come back to Asai Bradley. I'm getting kind of nervous about, like, we got 2 more episodes and they got to resolve John Walker. it feels like we ain't getting back to that. And that's a shame, because that's a big thing. And I know that some people out there are going to say, well, it's the MCU. The MCU loves to have something get introduced and then never gets explained for like 5 more movies, and then it comes back and it's a huge thing. Yeah, the MCU does love to do that, and I have let a lot of stuff slide in the MCU because there's been a lot of things in the MCU that I have applauded for that, because they're like, oh, that was a good setup, and I can't wait to see how that plays out in another movie. But this is one of those things where I'm like, this feels like one of those things that's like, no, we need to talk about this now. This feels like one of those things that like, this isn't the kind of thing that you drop in here and then we just kind of move past it. Like, Sam has talked about it a little bit. He did bring it up in episode 3, he brought it up a little bit. But it feels like one of those things like, no, sit me down, explain everything about this. Like, it feels like we need to talk about more in this series. There might be a season 2 of this. Like I said, I thought all the Marvel shows were going to be one-done seasons, but
who knows?
After how WandaVision ended, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they are going to continue on, and if that's the case, like, this would be a hell of a setup for season 2. As I mentioned, I would really love for them to give Isaiah Bradley his own show, but if they had Falcon Winter Soldier season 2, which at that point they should just call it Captain America and Winter Soldier. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Because again, I've said this before. If Sam doesn't become Captain America at the end of this,
or Captain America and White Wolf.
Yeah, I would dig that. Yeah, I would really dig that. Also, because if you know who White Wolf is in the comics, it's weird. In the comics, for anybody who doesn't know, in the comics, T'Challa has a white adopted brother who became head of Wakandan security, and that was the White Wolf. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. But Bucky becomes White Wolf, that works, yeah. Bucky moves back to Wakanda, becomes the head of security there, and he's White Wolf. It's like, yeah, cool. Great. Although after this episode, I was like, I don't think they need Bucky to be head of security. One Dora Milaje took him out with a couple finger pokes. But yeah, like, if they do get a season 2, having like half the season be flashbacks to Isaiah Bradley, I think that would still work great. So yeah, that's really the only problem that I have at this moment right now, is that I think at this point I have to accept we're not going to get as much Isaiah Bradley in here as I was hoping for after episode 2, and it feels like it was set up really well to delve deeper into. So it's like, it's a little bit of a disappointment, but man, they could totally. Each of these episodes are like 40 minutes long. They could totally put something else back in there. And as I mentioned, the one thing that could still ruin this for me is if Sam doesn't become Captain America. But I will say this. If he doesn't become Captain America in this show, but it leaves on kind of a cliffhanger of like, okay, what do you got to do now, Sam? And he's like looking down at the shield or something, like, and then it's like to be continued in Avengers 4. It's like, all right.
Or continued in season 2.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it's like, all right. Because I do know that we're getting more Avengers movies. And like run down the list in my head of like, okay, who could be joining? Like Captain Marvel. He's got to come back and be Captain America in there. It's like, all right, run down. Like War Machine's got to come back. They're giving War Machine a show. So yeah, it's like, he's got to be in there. But yeah, now I'm just rambling about the future of the MCU. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Sorry that Peach chewed our rawhide so much during all this. But I'm kind of just glad that Peach is like up and moving around again, because it's like, well, yeah, it's scary. In case you guys are wondering why this is late, it's because, like we said, Peach busted her leg up, and I just spent 2 days like, okay, buddy, you okay? You gonna be all right, buddy?
Yes, we were very worried about
It's kind of hard for me to talk about nerd shit when you're afraid that your dog is in trouble. Yeah. I've only had Peach for a day, and if anything happened to her, I would kill myself and everyone in this room. Yes. You okay, buddy? All right, good.
Yeah, she sees you doing a lot better.
She's good. You can see one ear in there. By the way, go back and watch the last episode. Get to that point where we say goodbye. I didn't notice this when it happened, but as I was editing it, saw like...
Yeah, I saw it.
You noticed it, and you pointed it out to me afterwards, but yeah, like, little head just... Boop. Oh, okay. And it wouldn't be an episode of this if Peach didn't kick me in the nuts. So, we will call it a day right here. Zoink Scoop. Bye, everybody.
Bye.